So welcome to the Beans Group. Student stuff made easy. Sure, so I'm the founder and director of studentbeans.com, and we launched the website 6 years ago, originally just in Birmingham, and the idea is I graduated from the University of Birmingham. I want to help people save money, and having been a student, people are always looking for a good deal. At the same time, a lot of brands want to promote themselves, and we wanted to make a connection. How can we help companies but also help students and fundamentally kind of be win-win for everyone? And so we thought if we could create a website where students could come on and print out the purchase, the deals, and go online and get promotions, then that would be a really, really great thing to do. Nothing existed like that at the time. Sure, in terms of drive, why do you get up in the morning? It's about making a difference, and it's about, I compare it to if you are a songwriter, or if you know someone who writes a song. Can you imagine you walk down the street and you hear someone else singing the song that you've written? I think that must be an absolutely awesome feeling. And for me, it's about, I can't write and I can't sing songs, but about creating a business, creating something that actually has an impact, that makes a difference. And it's amazing, we get around 500,000 people every month coming back to the site, and it's kind of imagine, if it wasn't there, what would have happened? And people, since we started, we signed up approaching 700,000 registered users, 700,000 people going to our website, and just over 6 years ago, it was just a landing page, just an idea. The things that really inspire me is when I meet students, I meet people that had, for example, I met a girl a couple of weeks ago. She had her 21st birthday party. She'd gone to Pizza Express with a 2-for-1 voucher that we'd helped facilitate, and she associated us with her 21st birthday. And that, when she met me, she was so excited about that. And that's, really making a difference. Similarly, people going to Wilton Towers or getting their photos, but whatever it is, all the different deals and promotions that kind of students use because of us, that's what keeps me going. We launched studentbeans.com originally in Birmingham in 2005, and it was going really well. We signed up around half the student population in Birmingham. Following on the success of that, we wanted to launch across the country. So I basically spent kind of a good 6 months or more kind of travelling the country, going to each of the cities we wanted to launch in. And literally this raw, door-to-door sales proposition. So I was knocking on doors, speaking to people, trying to get them to sign up and fundamentally get them to give us a deal that could help students save money. And so I went into this one restaurant, and this woman just screamed at me. She was just really direct and rude. It was a miserable day in November. It was on a Saturday as well. It was in Sheffield. And I just, at that moment, we hadn't yet launched in all these other cities, but I remember walking out of that room and out of that restaurant and just feeling absolutely miserable, and calling a friend of mine saying that really, I just don't know why I'm doing this, why I'm giving so much, and it's very selfless, you're trying to create something and help. And then at the end of the day, they said, look, if you've done some great things in Birmingham, could you imagine replicating that success across the country? Really what that would create, that would be amazing. And don't let it get to you. And I remember getting back in the car and driving home after that, and I was like, I'm not doing it anymore that day. We went back and we got more people and we grew, and one thing leads to another, but we just got to keep going. It's persistence and drive, we just got to keep going. So, the fact is that people do business with people, and the integral part of the business and how it's grown over the last 6 years is building relationships. And kind of one of the hardest things about building relationships is where you start, and how, I'm sure you've all had an experience watching this where you've wanted to say something to someone. Maybe it's that person in a bar or in a club, or you're just standing in a bus stop and you think, I want to say something to that person, but there's this gut feeling inside, I don't want to say something, I might embarrass myself. So I was doing actually a ski season between school and university, and one of the things was sitting in a chairlift. Every day, sometimes you've got to ski by yourself because there's no one else to go with, but I'd use a line, and despite your comments or views on chat up lines, actually really useful because it gives you something very tangible to say. So I would always go, have you skied on this run today? So have you been here? And the response would be, either yes or no, but an open conversation, and then you start this dialogue, and they ask you, where have you been? And I then explain that I'm doing a ski season, and they all get very excited, and then they invite you to ski with them for the day, and then you say, look, I've got to go, I've got a bit of a shift, and you kind of move on to the next person. And before I kind of had that line in my mind, I'd always be sitting on that chairlift thinking, what should I say? Well, I don't know, and that kind of obviously we relate to. So for me, that was about kind of creating connections and opportunities and meeting people, and I met some absolutely amazing, fantastic people in that experience, and I take that through kind of day to day, whether it be kind of going to speak to new businesses or speaking at events or networking events, and you just never know where it might go, and it's amazing to get the connections. At university, you walk past so many people that maybe it's you're applying for a job at a company, and you never know that the person you've just walked past already has a job at that company, and they might be able to help you get that job, or you just don't know about those connections. So, at the end of the day, if you've got an idea and you're not sure what to do about it, the fundamental point is about starting. Because if you don't start, it's never going to happen, and you've really just got to get on and do it. And there are lots of different things. There's lots of advice out there. We actually got some funding and support from the Prince's Trust, which was a low-interest loan. There's also some fantastic kind of business advice. There's the Business Link locally in Birmingham, and the Innovation Centre at the University of Birmingham. You just kind of go and ask, and then you'll get some fantastic advice and support. Don't listen to people that tell you that you can't do it, or you don't do it. If you believe in your idea and you're passionate about it and you want to make it succeed, if there's a will, there's a way, and that's kind of don't let something ideas stop you. The biggest challenge for me when I graduated was finding a graduate job, or how I would survive, how would I make a career for myself. Now we've got a team of 25 people, and we're really making a difference in terms of kind of the results, and people are really fantastically successful, which I do. I've got to sit back and go, we are, but there's always more that we want to do. In terms of the success of what I love about it, 500,000 visitors every month coming through to the site, people talking about it, meeting people that know the brand, that trust the brand, and that was from day one. I think the really kind of exciting thing is when you meet people and someone introduces, this is the brand from studentleaders.com, and this is, someone works at the company. People get excited when you see that. Oh, really? Or they kind of go, what do you do at studentleaders.com? You tell them, and they're like, that's awesome. And so that kind of feeling for me is kind of is more reward than anything else in terms of whether we can financially. We've also grown the business from a kind of small low-interest loan from the Prince's Trust to very organically, and to be a successful business in the place we are, especially with the current climate and economy, has been extremely challenging. But I go to work every day, and it's just an amazing feat to know kind of what we're doing and contributing. And the most rewarding thing, to be honest, is actually offering people jobs. Being in the economy in the current kind of climate, to be able to offer someone genuinely every day, whenever we offer someone a role, we really want to provide them an opportunity for them to grow and to learn and develop. And things don't work out always, unfortunately, and that's also a very kind of challenging. I think one of the most challenging parts of the business, is employees and finding the right people. Yeah, so there's a fantastic book called Marketing Judo, which is all about how you can use your opponent's weight for your advantage. And there are some amazing people and amazing kind of partnerships that we developed in the early days that meant we could go and kind of be above our means and be bigger perhaps than we would have done before. So one of the examples was Novotel Hotel Group, who own Ibis and ETAP. They basically kind of helped us by, we went to them and said, look, we've got some advertising space. If we can give you some advertising space, can you give us some hotel rooms? So absolutely amazingly, kind of the managers and kind of this rose quite high up in the company agreed to give us 70 nights accommodation, which included breakfast, so anywhere across the country. So it meant that I could literally travel the country, go and sign up new businesses, help grow the business, and that was valued at £5,000-6,000 or more at the time, which again was money that simply because we didn't have investment, we couldn't afford. So anyone that tells me they don't have enough money, to be honest, I just get over that and find out and working out what's the reason, really what's stopping you. And what's stopping you is definitely other reasons aside from money. Maybe it's not the right idea, maybe it's not the right timing, you don't know the right people. Those are all maybe reasons, but money definitely shouldn't be one of them. So I think you've got to think that the crucial moment, when I graduated, there were different options. Everyone faces, this challenge. What do I do when I graduate? I had a business plan as part of my course. I created this business plan on 120 pages, and I had this idea. And I speak to my business partner brother. He'd normally tell me a lot of the ideas weren't great, but this one actually stuck with him. And he ended up actually coming up with the idea of the name. So the name behind the company is studentbeans.com. Why student beans? It was about, a staple diet. So baked beans on toast. If you don't have any money, you have baked beans on toast. So studentbeans.com being the staple diet and kind of helping the students. So then I graduated and I applied for a number of jobs with businesses, but I didn't get those jobs. And deep down I was like, right, what do I really want to do? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to contribute? And I read this amazing book, and I met this person called David Taylor, who's written a book called The Naked Leader. It's got a very, very simple message. Imagine if you couldn't fail. Who would you be? Where would you go? And what would you do? And it was unbelievable, because I read that back in 2003, and as I was doing and thinking, contributing, what do I want to achieve, what do I want to do, and this message kept coming up, and I invited him. He spoke at an event that I was organising in April 2005. So I had a business plan in hand, but I had lots of people telling me I need to go and get experience, I need to work, I need to learn more what it means to run a business. And at this event he said, imagine if you couldn't fail. Who would you be, where would you go, and what would you do? And in that moment, I was like, I have to set up studentbeans.com. It's going to be amazing. We're going to launch it across the country, and it's going to work. And that was this drive. And so you asked, what are the landmarks? That was the first, big thing. I think the second big thing, is when we're going around door to door, kind of selling and promoting and getting new businesses. It's this chicken and egg. What do you need first? You need lots of students, or do you need companies? And we needed the companies first to enable us then to get, users, so that people, would be involved in that. And I remember, clearly some of the kind of fantastic brands we worked with in the early days, whether it be Wagamama or Krispy Kreme, Domino's, some fantastic brands, right through to your kind of locals in Celio. We were kind of in the Celli sausage, and people we used to work with in the early days. It's fantastic. And it's the challenge was getting those people on board. And each day, to be honest, it's little by little. It's not one big thing that then happens that changes your life. It's these things. I remember going to Wagamama and then going to, we had 40 or 50 vouchers redeemed in one day. And I remember, because I used to go door to door and speak to how's it going, what's going on, and calling my business partner, going, Mike, they had 50, in one day, just a few weeks after we launched, and we knew we were onto something. And it's then that decision going, right, from Birmingham, how are we going to launch across the country? And that was a big step from going from 1 to 18 cities in 1 year.